Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for spending your valuable time with the Adapt 2030 channel. April 10th and 11th, Shiveluch erupts. Low pressure system over there as well. Earth spot connection. Sulfur dioxide going to get caught in the polar easterlies. Look for cold in the Arctic. Sulfur dioxide plume moving over the U.S. This video, February 27th, 2023, I put out earthquake window. It's actually a volcanic window. April 10th was one of the dates I picked. 2016, 2018, 2022. It's all about the clusters. And it seems to have something that when we pull away from the magnetic coupling of Jupiter, we begin to get the earthquakes. Now we're much closer into this magnetic anomaly. So can we identify some earthquake probabilities? Around March 17, 2023, Trident. April 10th, 2023, Earth, Sun, Jupiter, Saturn. And November 5th, perhaps, as we break magnetic coupling with Jupiter and Saturn this time. And because of the sacred cross with Jupiter, International Monetary Fund launches on the same day the Universal Monetary Unit, meaning stablecoin for the planet. And we're going to be talking about Earth's energies in this video. Notice how water can also be manipulated through the interaction with rock. What have we not been told over the last few thousand years on how to use this to our benefit without having to use machinery? Oh, you can't control that on a meter. And to the eruption of Shiveluch, these images here off AP News, you might think it's any old regular volcano, but this pushed ash 60,000 feet into the air. Massive eruption, causing flights in Alaska to cancel due to the particulates in the air. Centennial 5 and Himware 8 showing us the stratospheric plume here off the charts. And you know, one thing I don't like is why they know it's going to go off the chart every time. Why don't they put a band for 400 or 500 up there so it's not off the chart? Maybe that would show an increase in volcanism, just saying. But notice the eruption from 56 degrees north and the ash up around 57 to 55 degrees. And if we do look at the cloud cells on the planet, you'll see they're divided into 0 to 30, 30 to 60, 60 to 90. 60 to 90 is the polar easterlies and subpolar low that pulls everything off the edge of the cloud band from 30 to 60 north up into the Arctic. So let's talk about sulfur dioxide plume. Where do you think this is going to head? And more importantly is how much of a cooling effect will this have as we march into summer? Because we are heading into summer, so you have to look at this as a massive eruption. The 2023 financial crisis has begun. According to Bloomberg, the missing catalyst is here, with gold now forecast to surpass $3,000 an ounce as a worst-case scenario. The economic hurricane J.B. Diamond warned of is here. Call the proud Americans at the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Remember, Patriot Gold Group offers the no fee for life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or silver on qualifying rollovers. Call 888-546-7020 to get your free investor guide today. Keep in mind, Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold IRA dealer 6 years in a row. That's 888-546-7020. And now on with the video. The amount of sulfur dioxide that will continue to head over and be recirculated through the Arctic Circle over the winter, especially anything at, like, say, 56, 55 degrees north latitude, that is just going to swirl and be locked in there. Equatorial eruptions, they move from the equator up to the poles. This is right at that last cloud band, directly into the poles, all of it just going to slam there right into the North Pole and hang over there. And of note, Earth spot connection low over the volcanic eruption at the exact same time. Ben Davidson, Suspicious Observers, speaks eloquently to this effect. on how our Earth and our Sun are so connected. It is undeniable. And once you know this fact of electromagnetic coupling between the Sun and our planets, you can forecast out a few things if you see where the planetary geometry goes. And this was my forecast from the February 27th, 2023 video, just a couple of months ago. 2016, 2018, 2022, it's all about the clusters. And it seems to have something that when we pull away from the magnetic coupling of Jupiter, we begin to get the earthquakes. Now we're much closer into this magnetic anomaly. So can we identify some earthquake probabilities? Around March 17, 2023, Trident. April 10th, 2023, Earth, Sun, Jupiter, Saturn. And November 5th, perhaps, as we break magnetic coupling with Jupiter and Saturn this time. And once you understand the electromagnetism and the way it really does work around our galaxy and the entire universe, as said, with flows of current, Birkeland currents carrying that to our star, these cycles are forecastable. It's lows and highs of electromagnetic current through our solar system from other star systems that are along the same string. 25,000 years, they've already seen the cycles. They've mapped it out. But again, you'd have to do that 2 cycles to know exactly that it was a cycle and that those same things would occur again. We just moved into the age of Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is a water sign. Now, water and fire, what happens? Now, these things made in our heavens of lore, constellations, descriptions of seed points for human consciousness, the Big Dipper in the Chinese, Beidou Qixing, Big Dipper cult. We follow the stars and the sun time immemorial. We have been taught not to in the last 100 years because the cycle's here again. Once you start to see the coupling of the cycle, there's a lot of changes on our planet civilization-wise. Now, if you were in power, you want to retain your power and also control the monetary supply. Now, we are coming into this cycle, 2024 of October should be a first peak of something electromagnetically as the gas giants form a square as perceived from Earth. The last time this particular square was this much of a perfection, just 1 degree out, was 79 AD. So you have to think about these longer term duration cycles, 2,000 years. Birth of Christ, that whole religious aspect was also at the change of an age. Now we're rolling into another change of an age. These are markers in time. They are specifically telling you the energetic flows, how it ebbs, how it increases, how it affects society. So a water sign for me would mean more floods. And one last thing. If you had mapped out these cycles, if we do a great year, 25,750 years, you'd have to do it at least twice to know the cycle was there. So that brings us up to what, 52,000 years? But what if you'd add multiple? What if you studied this for 5 million years? You had 100 of these cycles mapped out. You would absolutely know when it was onsetting, the strength, the duration, the intensity, and you would look for the signs. That when they say signs in the skies, that's no joke. And another thing, I had a discussion with somebody at Easter. They're talking about the return of Christ. And I made the point that perhaps Christ energy is the return, not a physical being. The embodiment of a frequency of energy that is Christ consciousness is returning, which would be the change of the age. And it became sort of a heated debate on, yes, it's a human coming back. And I'm like, well, it could be a frequency pattern throughout the realm, for a better term. And that is what people are looking for. And perhaps that's why there's all this interference pattern out there in terms of fear with the news, or just scattered interference on radio and frequency waves across our planet. And one of the dates, because of where we sit electromagnetically coupled with the gas giants, March 17th was one of the days I looked at, and lo and behold, the list of the biggest earthquakes of 2023, I put it in the blue box down there. March 16th. Okay, close enough to call a major earthquake within an entire year by one day. But then April 10th also was another one because of the Jupiter-Sun-Earth conjunction, magnetic intercoupling again. Electromagnetism pervades our solar system. It's what makes it work. And suddenly, just at midnight on the 10th, we have the Shiveluch eruption sending massive plumes of sulfur dioxide and ash into the atmosphere, 60,000 foot plus cooling event inbound. So other dates that I've picked out also because of coupling between Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Earth. August 22nd, and if we move forward, definite connections here on the trident pattern, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune again, plus the Sun this time, September 6th. That should be a big one. November 5th as well. That triangle formation between Saturn, Earth, Jupiter, and Sun will have some effect on our crust. That's November 5th. And December 21st, shortest day of the year, the solstice. The Earth starts to break away from the electromagnetic bonds of Jupiter and Saturn at the same time while swinging around the Sun. This is a well-known earthquake precursor. Look out for those dates. Because you cannot tell me with a straight face, with that conjunction of Jupiter, Sun, Earth, that the International Monetary Fund launches on the same exact day of that amplified energy that forced a huge VEI5 eruption. That the IMF launched their Universal Monetary Unit, the UMU. It is truly the one global currency. This was, I had always anticipated that if they're going to set up a new grow zone in the Sahel in North Africa, with all the workers coming from around the world to work there, they would need a stable coin to pay them, and I was anticipating it for it to be Circle, USDC, along with Algorand. But something else has popped into the woodwork, obviously the UMU, and if you haven't heard about this, Digital Currency Monetary Authority setting up as a universal monetary unit. They have every single country's exchange rate across the planet, 208 nations pegged to the UMU. But currently you need to pay $1.04 to get that UMU. So it's already eclipsed the US dollar rate, which means for me the US dollar is sinking in value because when this was set up it was pegged at parity for a dollar. So we've already lost 5% over the last 2 years of planning of this UMU to come in. They call it the Uni coin. This is a global currency. In play right now, rolling out as we speak on the same day of those volcanic eruptions. Interesting on the timing. As we come to the time of supply chain breakdowns and the chaos phase while the elite make their escape underground or wherever they're going off planet, whatever. We're going to have to be more resilient, and it's going to take a mind of all of us just like this to create something that is functional from the remnants of our old world to rebuild and bring us into the new. And I do mean the chaos phase. You have to think about it. COVID came in and all goods and services seemed to have shortages. Or was it? Or was that a complete takeover of the supply chain and an excuse to print money to infinitum, the largest amount of printed money ever with no blinking of an eye? We need to stimulate. Everybody's out of work. We need the stimulus. Print, print, print. Why were there the shortages if there was so much money flowing around for factories to produce goods? Oh, they were heading on trains, barges, trucks to a different location. You're not in the club, nor am I. We're all in this together. So it seems that the preparation time was done during 2021, 22. Now as we're into 23, it seems like the earth changes are so ferocious and onsetting that it can no longer be hidden. So the chaos phase is going to begin with the collapse of the global currencies, whatever fiat you're looking at, as an excuse while others just disappear. This is the only reason and only possible conclusion I can come at. And the ozone depletion event, if you look over at NASA and check out the ozone concentrations for April, it'll blow your mind. It is so low and so outside. It's not a 6 sigma event. It's probably closer to a 20-25 sigma event of depletion already in April. So as we get into the actual low ozone time, it's going to rock the planet. UVB will strike the ground. There will be crop losses and there will be runaway effects with bird life, insects, sea ice. and an enormous amount of other things that are daisy chained out that none of us have even anticipated. This is what comes next. And that's why this is so pertinent right now to get yourselves ready. Do you have any storable foods? That would be the very first thing. You're not going to eat this 100%. You're going to add it into what you can grow or what you can get elsewhere. 3-month emergency food supply, My Patriot Supply, and Adapt 2030. You're going to have to protect yourself somehow. And Ransom Godwin and myself talk about this every Thursday night, 10 p.m. to midnight, Revolution Radio. We stream out on all these different platforms. Please join us where your favorite venue is. Also, in the comment box, there's a lot of people chatting back and forth, so you can discuss with those of like minds. I do thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of the video, and I'll see you next time.